Hello and welcome. In this video, you will learn how to apply the schedule report policy in Cloud Cost Optimization so you can have reports emailed to yourself or to other members of your organization. We will do this through policy templates. These are highly flexible, which means you can modify or even write your own to provide the reporting information that you require. Today, we will simply look at the available scheduled report that we have in the platform and how to apply this policy. To apply a policy template, you will need to ensure you have the Publish Policies Automation role, as well as ensuring that you have configured the automation credentials to connect back into Flexera. Documentation on roles and credentials can be found at docs.flexera.com. To apply the policy, first we will click on Automation in the left menu, and then on Catalogue. Within Catalogue, we will click on Clear All in the top left, and then in the drop-down, we will select Cost. The first item that will come up is Schedule Report. If in your platform it is not Schedule Report, you can use the filter and simply type in Report to bring up the reports available. Today, we will use Schedule Report. Click on the Apply button for Schedule Report, and this will bring up the details on the configurations that you need in order to have the reports emailed to yourself. First item to decide on is policy schedule. And if this has to be monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, or every 15 minutes, in general, I would recommend monthly or weekly reporting, unless you're going to select changes for a daily report and only email if there's a percentage of change. In this example, we will select monthly as the default schedule. We will not make changes to severity, log level, or test mode. You will have to select an account to connect to. By default, there should be just one account, which is the account you're logged into for your Flexera organization. Select the credentials that will connect back into Flexera. Please speak to your administrator if you're not sure what the credential is called, or ensure that a credential has been created for you. In the Billing Center list, I will leave this blank for today. However, if you choose to target a billing center for reporting purposes, you can type in the billing center's name or its ID in here. Billing term, this is the unit of measure you would like to see within the report being sent. If you'd like to see it in a daily breakdown, a weekly breakdown, or monthly breakdown. In this example, I will leave it as a monthly breakdown. Cost metric, we will leave as unamortized, unblended. For more information on what unamortized, amortized, and blended and what unblended mean, do look at our README file, which is attached to this policy template. Date range I will leave as 3 months, but you do have the option to choose 1, 3, 6, or 12 months. And then you can filter out the dimensions. So in this example, I would like to target our CRM rule-based dimension or application to understand which billing centers have been allocated that spend and how much of that spend that they have for CRM. So I do know that the rule-based dimension is called application, and I know that the value is CRM. I can now click the plus to create that filter. You can add additional filters here. You may want to add filters for understanding owners or a specific service. So you can go ahead and add in additional services if you like. Service equals EC2, for example. In this one, I will just leave it as application equals CRM. For filter functionality, you can choose whether the filter dimensions must all be true. So an AND statement, so if it was application equals CRM and service equals EC2, then it'll only show you those dimensions within the report. Or if you would like to put any, it'll show you any of those dimensions when they come up as true. The graph dimension, this is what you would like to chart against. You can leave it as a category, you can put in a custom dimension here, or you can choose any of the dimensions that we have listed here. I will today be using billing centers because I would like to see, as I mentioned, which billing centers have been allocated the application CRM and the costs associated. The dimension value count, This is just the range of values to be displayed. So if you would like to see the top 10, you can put the top 10. If you want to see the top 100, you can put the top 100. You can put 0 if you'd like to display all the metrics that come through. Email addresses. This is where you will enter the emails of the people or teams or groups that you would like to receive this report. You can put in multiple addresses here. So you can put multiples here. Simply click create and it'll add that to the list of emails. Percentage of change alert direction. This is whether you would like to trigger this report to run only if there is an increase, decrease, or both. But that means that you will make sure that these are set to a percentage of change. So if you're setting it against a service and there's no change month on month, then a report may not be emailed out. And I will leave this as the defaults. So that way I can make sure that the report is run at the schedule I've determined, which is once a month. So every month, this report will run. Once you're happy with the selections you've made and the details of the report, simply click on Apply Policy, and that will run this policy for you now to generate that email report to the email addresses that you have selected. And once that comes through, it will simply provide you with the details of the CRM application and which billing centers have been consuming them. And depending on how much data is coming through, it will depend on how long this report takes to generate and to email out. By default, it's usually a few minutes. However, I will show you the report that I've just generated so you get an understanding. So this is what will come through on an email on that monthly basis for me for the application of CRM in my current currency and the breakdown of spend by the different billing centers. So as you can see, I can see a lot of CRM is not allocated, but there's a fair chunk allocated to engineering, a little bit to sales and so forth. And this is done the last 3 months as I had selected. There is a tabular view for this, so that way you can see the breakdown of costs with the dollar figures associated. These are the percentages of change. So you can see it's negative for has gone down and positive for increase. Now, if you click on View Details, this will take you to the platform and open up this same report, but within the platform itself. If you'd like to know more about this specific report or policy template, you can click on the README, and that will take you to the README for this policy. It gives you a quick rundown of what it does, what all the parameters that you selected and configured within the policy template do, and what actions it takes. Now that you are familiar with the scheduled report from the automation catalog, feel free to look at any other reports that may be available to you in any of the other categories, such as compliance, meta, onboarding, operational, SaaS, and security. And you can search through these as well. If you do require additional assistance from our documentations, please do use docs.flexera.com and you'll be able to go through and understand how to utilize other areas of the platform. You can also join our community page for knowledge base articles and to get support. Thank you for your time.